What's that sound? It's For Amusement Only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Resuming our discussion of score reels, today I wanted to talk about how they actually function. Inside, the score reel is simply a rotating disc which is mounted on a continuous stepper. This continuous stepper will actuate switches at various points in its rotation, which trigger other actions. For example, there is what's called a carryover switch, which will trigger the next score reel to move in sequence. There's also a switch which notes when the score reel is showing 0 to the player. There's another switch which tells the score reel that it has finished traveling and is ready to resume normal function. The switch is called an end of stroke switch, and similar to that mounted on a flipper coil, it simply tells the machine that the coil has pulled in and has tried to do its duty. Whether or not the score reel actually turns is another story. So, these basics of score reel design carry across manufacturers and eras, and though the design of the score reel itself may change, and the position of the switches in the units may differ, and the size of the score reels themselves and their position in the back boxes may change, the same functions hold true. This continuous stepper is powered by a single coil. The coil gets energy from a relay, and that relay is powered either directly from a playfield switch or indirectly from a score motor. Score motors are their own topic, and we'll get into those, but for now, just remember, if you have a score reel that is not behaving appropriately, you need to check a few different things. The first would be to diagnose what the actual problem is. So, I've come to people's houses that have EMs, and they're concerned that the machine is not actually turning the reels. This happens more often than not because a score reel is stuck mid-turn and either hasn't actuated the end of stroke switch, or there's a stuck playfield switch which is preventing that reel from letting go. The stuck playfield switch can cause the relay to stay on, which causes, in turn, the score reel coil to stay energized. But sometimes it's just a misadjusted relay that scores however many points. That can happen. Another problem that you may run across is the next reel in sequence. So if you're looking at score reels, the 1's position turns from 0 all the way to 9 and then loops back around to 0, but the 10's position doesn't move. Your first suspect should be the carryover switch that exists on the 1's position score reel. This carryover switch is the signal to the machine that it's in position 9 on that reel, and the very next pulse of that particular point should also pulse the 10's position. Many a time I've been working on a machine and it has been just fine. Points are accruing normally, but it gets to a particular position, number 9, on whatever reel, and doesn't spin the next reel. And once we delve into some of the different eras of score reels and how they were manufactured, that'll make a little bit more sense. But most of the machines in the 60s and 70s used the same style of score reel design throughout. In our next episode, I'll be talking about that normal score reel design and how exactly you're able to identify what the problems are when looking at the score reel from the back. Well, thank you again for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, and you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.